let's call it. There's a function that doesn't do anything, let's call it. See what it does. Hey, it runs, doesn't do anything. I am very, very happy so far. I think this will work. I don't actually know. I don't know if this will work. Yep. What? F didn't return anything. Ah, it turns out it does. So unit is this is a total side trip, but we were going to get here today anyway, so I don't feel at all guilty. I want to be clear. Unit is a type in Rust. It's spelled just like it looks like, open paren, close paren. There's exactly one value of type unit. The value is named unit and also spelled open paren, close paren. What? Yeah. So we got a type called open paren, close paren. It has exactly one possible value, right? Types are defined to some extent by the extent of values they can take on. There's only one value the unit type can take on, and that's the unit value, open paren, close paren. It turns out that if I declare a function without a return, it implicitly returns the unit type. There's only one thing it can return, and that's the unit. And if I put a unit here, that's also legal. I'm now returning unit. Doesn't really care, right? And of course, I can get rid of this because the compiler says, well, when you call a function, if it returns unit, you don't actually have to do anything with the result. We don't care. Oh. Well, that feels a lot different from C, where I have a void type. I can declare functions to be explicitly void, right? What happens if I don't put void? What if I just say f, open paren, close paren, in C? Anybody know? What's the default return type of C functions? What? Say it louder, please. Int! It turns out C functions return int if you don't say. Yeah. C functions return int if you don't say. That's clearly dumb, because now when you forget and don't return anything, what happens when the C function returns int? Maybe returns something off the top of the stack. This is terrible, right? This is just a disaster of epic proportions. And so that goes back to the K and RC days, the pre-ANSI C days, when Pernigan and Ritchie defined the language. And one of the things the ANSI committee, first things they said is, no, we can't live like this. You have to give function prototypes with actual types. And if your function doesn't return anything, we'll say it returns void. Void is a really, really bad name that only a committee can love. In type theory, the void type is a type that has how many possible values?
0.
0! So what we're claiming is that when I say f with void f, it doesn't return any values. There's no possible value it could return. What is that? How is that even a function, right? A thing that can't possibly return a value isn't really a function anymore. This doesn't sound right at all. It's a complete mess. What actually happens in practice is that void is a type in C that acts an awful lot like what? Like unit in Rust. Or like unit in Haskell, which also has a unit type. Really, under the hood, void is a unit type, and really Rust is doing the same thing. It's just that Rust's version of it is way, way more principled and makes way, way more sense. By the way, the user trap that's implicit in all this is, suppose that I want to actually make this program do something. And so I say println bang, many quotes, but boy, this is way too verbose. I wish I had a shorter way to write it. And then I say f. And let's make f return U32. And we'll make it return 5. What's going to happen? Somebody catch me before I hit return.
It's going to return unit.
It's going to return unit. That's the compiler message I'm going to get, is that that this function won't compile, I think, is that this function won't compile because it expected a U32 output and it found unit. Found unit? I don't see unit there anywhere. But semicolon is a statement separator, not a statement terminator, right? There is an implicit null statement after that. What's the value of the null statement in Rust? Unit! So I'm actually telling it to return a unit, which is really, really super confusing, right? And by the way, it isn't just that I did something really, really dumb like this. It's that I forgot this thing did a U32, had a U32 result, and I ended the function with a println, right? Sorry, returned unit. But it is nice enough to say this function's body doesn't return, which is a really confusing. Is there more to that error message? That error message is terrible. I hate that error message. Yes, it does. It just doesn't return unit. It just returns unit. That's weird. Okay, anyway, so I try to fix it, and I'm like, well, okay, fine. Guess what println returns? Unit. So I'm still returning unit. It's like, no, darn it, you were supposed to return a number here. Return a number. So I write this, which is a perfectly reasonable thing to say. What's that gonna do?
Return 5.
Return 5. Wait a minute. It ends in a semicolon, and you told me that a semicolon was a function thing, and there was a unit value after it. Well, yeah, but returns a control flow modifying thing. So it returns 5 before it ever gets to return a unit. If it could get past the return, it would have returned unit, but it doesn't, so it works fine. But by the way, don't do this. This is the sign that you're a recovering C programmer, and while you are a recovering C programmer, you don't want to advertise it. It's kind of embarrassing. So instead, you do the thing that Haskell people do. This is a good break point. Everybody's squirming in their seats, so am I. Let's take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and refresh, and then I'm hoping this is all useful as an introduction. I never quite know how to tackle getting started with a language like this. I have some